So I started reading Gypsy Rose's memoir today on Audible. I've been so excited for this to come out, and she is the narrator. I'm about an hour in, and honestly, it is just so sad to me how the public just switched on this poor girl. I remember the first time I was introduced to her case, I think it was about 2017 when I saw a 2020 episode on it. I was just mind blown. And it took me to read a lot of other books on other cases of Munchausen by proxy. For example, the Lacey Spears case. If you don't know about it, highly recommend looking into it. So many cases of Munchausen by proxy, the person that is being abused dies. And very often, too, they can be replaced with another child, an adopted child. So Gypsy is very, very lucky to be alive. And I remember it was just about a year ago that she got out of prison. I remember we were all excited for her to get home for Christmas. And the moment that she was not the perfect victim or the perfect abuse victim to everybody, people switched on her. Immediately, her first request was, I want to go see my favorite artist, Taylor Swift. People were saying that she was going to use her mom's same manipulation tactics and try to get to see a free concert. And that her and her mom were in on all of this manipulation together. When this is just a girl that had been imprisoned her entire life and just in actual prison for the last 8 years, wanting to go to a concert to see her favorite artist. But no, immediately it had to be turning into accusations that Gypsy was just a manipulator and wanted freebies. And a lot of the discussion now is that Gypsy was such a bad person and that she took advantage of autistic Nicholas GODEJOHN, not taking account that this man was a pedophile, a sadist, and originally was interested in a girl who he thought had the mind of a 7-year-old and was in a wheelchair. And just remember, Gypsy probably didn't know that something was very off about him because she had not been around any normal people in her entire life. Just getting into the first hour or so of this memoir, you can just see what a freak, messed up person Dee Dee was. And the only other people that Gypsy was close to was her mom's freak family, who were also pedophiles and sexual abusers. If anything, Nick was more normal than the people that she had been exposed to her entire life in her tiny, tiny circle. All I have to say is I hope people read her memoir with an open mind and quit being so judgmental of her, because nobody is a perfect victim. She will say it herself.
That is the face of somebody that supports a woman that uses a man with a disability, a low IQ, and other mental health issues that was collecting a permanent disability check. I saw in one of her comments, she said she wouldn't watch Becca Scoops because she'd rather watch real content. Girl, have you actually looked at the court documents? Have you actually watched the interrogation? That's facts. But if you choose to keep your head up in the air and support a woman that used a disabled person, you are what's wrong in the world today. I said what I said, and now that everybody knows that you support abusing the disabled, that is who you are.
So I have a question for everyone who is saying that Gypsy Rose was not a victim of Munchausen by proxy by her mother. Everybody who's been defending Dee Dee Blanchard, people are now saying that there was absolutely no medical malpractice done. Her mom did not have Munchausen by proxy. Everything that she had done, going under anesthesia over 100 times, everything was because her chromosome disorder. And this is because someone on YouTube claims that they were a nurse and they then decided to diagnose her medical records and say how everything was completely valid because of this very, very rare chromosome disorder. And there's a huge bandwagon of people now who believe this, and it's absolutely mind-boggling to me, because if you use even the tiniest bit of common sense, defending Dee Dee Blanchard makes no sense. So let's just pretend that all of her surgeries and everything just had to do with her chromosome disorder. Why was she walking while she was a toddler and young child and then put in a wheelchair? If you say it's low muscle tone, that's not what Dee Dee said. And low muscle tone doesn't develop like that after a child's already been walking just fine. Dee Dee said she had to be in a wheelchair after she broke her leg after a car accident, which was really just scrapes. She would also tell certain doctors certain places that she was paralyzed from the neck down, certain that she was paralyzed from the waist down. So how does that make sense? Second, Why did Gypsy never go to school? Her mom told everyone she was homeschooling her, but if she had all of these delays and problems with this chromosome disorder, why wasn't she in special education? Why, when they would go to home, she would say that Gypsy was attending whatever school was in the area? Why, if everything she was getting done in the hospitals was just for her chromosome disorder, why was she telling everybody that she had leukemia, muscular dystrophy? Are all of the people that Dee Dee told she had leukemia to, including Gypsy's father and stepmother, are they lying? This is clear evidence of Munchausen by proxy. People that were saying her teeth were removed because they were so rotten, she was very, very, very young when she got her teeth removed. If you look at pictures of her, she looks like she's like 5. Why would she have a feeding tube? She told doctors that Gypsy had a fear of eating, along with a million food allergies. Gypsy said, I never had a fear of eating. I loved to eat, she just wouldn't let me. Feeding tubes are such a common part of people with Munchausen by proxy. Look up the Lacey Spears case. The feeding tube that she had for her son Garnett was how she killed him. This gives the caretaker with Munchausen by proxy ultimate control over what medication, what food, everything that is going into their body. They also have this tendency to come up with crazy food allergies. So Dee Dee said Gypsy was allergic to sugar. Lacey Spears also said that about her son. She said that he had to be a raw, gluten-free vegan. And when other people would babysit him and feed him, he would eat everything, even though she said he had a fear of eating, couldn't eat anything. Same thing. This was also a mother with Munchausen by proxy. And even if she was getting treated for all of these issues related with her chromosome disorder, she did not have any of these problems. She never had any symptoms that would lead her to need all of these things that her mom said she would. She never had seizures, but she was on seizure medication to keep her very, very calm and quiet, exhausted, motionless. And one of the last things her mom was going to do was get her larynx cut, which could have made her lose her voice forever. You seriously think that's a real problem that she needed to have taken care of? No. So use some common sense when you think that Gypsy was the one manipulating everyone here and that Dee Dee was a victim. Dee Dee constantly lied about what was going on with Gypsy, what she had going on with her health, and isolated her from everyone. Munchausen by proxy 101.
Worst thing in the world to be is ignorant. Okay? That's what I'll say for starters. Now, second off, that chromosome disorder comes with muscle issues. Gypsy said she never got out of a wheelchair. Do you know how muscles work? If you don't use them, you lose them. Education is key. Educate yourself. Munchausen by proxy and malingering are two different things. Did you know that? Have you seen Gypsy's medical records? Because they are out there. In order for someone to be diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy, they would have to be alive when the diagnosis took place. There was never a diagnosis, ever. Gypsy Rose Blanchard said in her own documentary that her mom was never diagnosed with Munchausen by proxy. It was her attorney that said that as a defense. In her own words. Again, malingering is using issues to gain money or monetary gain. Munchausen by proxy is inflicting medical issues that don't exist on your child to cause pain. Her mother was malingering. You saying she doesn't have this chromosome disorder? Because this little girl right here is not Gypsy Rose. That's the poster child for the chromosome disorder. Now, this is Gypsy Rose. Okay. Weak muscle tone is a part of this chromosomal disorder. Poor growth, that's what the feeding tube was for. Seizures, that's the issues that she said she had. Hearing impair, joint laxity, that's all a part of this chromosome disorder. The issue is, why don't you come with facts? The problem is you're so busy bumping your gums and not having the information at hand. Giving real, never mind, because I'm one too. Maybe not a real one, so that might be the difference. Also, if that's the case, why did Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself say that she went ahead and had her mother unalived because she didn't know how long it was going to take and she wanted to move on with her life and have kids and a family? She said it in her own documentary, so clear the air on that one, Bookie. Since you so smart and you know so much, because you don't know nothing. And you don't even do your research. Facts are facts. You can't negate facts. Bumping your gums are not facts. Her medical records are out there. All of the proof is out there. She has told 8 different stories. Are you really out here believing a murderer? You're trusting someone that pled guilty to second-degree murder of their mother. Really? You're like, oh, I'm going to trust a murderer. That makes great sense. Yeah. Yeah, she manipulated a man with autism and a low IQ that was collecting permanent disability check. Yeah, she's trustworthy. I guess common sense might not be that common. I don't know. You tell me. Oh, yeah, and vitamin C and sunscreen will help clear up the spots. And a retinol. But you don't believe in facts. So maybe you wouldn't research anything like that.